So our first draft of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Guile and Asura. And we've been seeing a lot of Sevrog bans and a couple of Wraith bans, some Muriels taken out of there, but this time, Guile are going to take out the Grux.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, as you said, the Sevarog's very strong at the moment for an offlane pick. It does have the counter pick of the Quang, so we might see the occasional Sevarog go through here. The Grux ban's probably just targeting the jungle pool a bit more of Asura Raid, so if they do ban something like a Sevarog here and a Rampage is taken, it's definitely going to hinder what they can run for their jungler. Maybe force them onto something a bit more unconventional, more towards the Crunch Wukong style of things, as we've seen a lot from Scrims.
Yeah,
Probably
we've
be
been
more than likely.
seeing a lot of Wukongs, which is pretty exciting to me, but surprisingly, the Sevrog's going to get through as well as the Quang. So, with the Wraith being banned out, both these teams have a lot of choices to go in the solo lane, and quite a bit for jungles as well, with the Rampage being the first pick for God. That's not really too much of a surprise. What do you think Asura are going to take here in their first two?
Sevarog for sure, pretty much, and as we see, Revenant as well is quite a strong pickup. A bit more priority in NA, I think, on Revenant. They do like him over there due to his snowball potential, but the Sevarog was definitely a sure pickup for offlane or jungle. Maybe in this case against the Rampage, as Rampage is probably the strongest, most favorite jungler in Paragon at the moment in this current patch.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. So when it comes to the Sevrog matchup in the solo lane, I mean, obviously Quang is up there. Do you think there are any other heroes that can really contest him a whole lot in that lane?
I think you have to pick up the Quang. If not, you have to go for a range bully. It could be this Zinx. This could potentially be a pick you run into it, but things also like the Revenant are also a good counter pick to it. You need someone who can bully him out of lane. Otherwise, he's just going to get too strong, basically. Quang's the only contender in a melee matchup, though. I can't see anyone else actually beating the lane when it comes to Sevarog.
And now the Zing's picked up for Guile. Like you said, it could be the solo lane matchup, but we've seen this hero in a lot of different roles so far in the current
Mm-hmm.
patch. Why do you think that is?
Zinx is very versatile at the moment. She can be played like a carry with OPD. Her auto attack damage output can be very strong. As a support, she's very poke heavy. She's got a good stun now. In mid, she can be a good lane bully. Off lane, a good lane bully. The only place you don't really see her is the jungle. But yeah, she can certainly be very strong at the moment. Very versatile pick, so it's good to pick her up early. And as we see the Quang to match the Sevarog, she's probably being put into the duo lane more than likely.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like the Zinx will fulfill at least the carry or the support role here. I actually saw a bit of Zinx carry on your team, Toronto Esports, in the last PCL.
Yeah, Mikey quite liked the pick at the time, and it does provide a lot for a team because you don't have to peel for as hard. She has her own stun, she has her ultimate to keep herself alive a bit more, makes the carry a bit more independent. But she does actually have one of the largest late game DPSs combined with her Q and her OPD out of most of the carry picks, so she can definitely contend there, up there with higher DPSs like Sparrow, Twin Blast, such. Yeah, certainly very strong in duo lane at the moment.
So we take a look at the lineup for Guile Esports now. They've got a couple of good crowd control abilities and some tankiness on their side. They have yet to go
Mhm.
for a mid though. Do you think it's just going to be straight to the Gideon with this one, or do you think they're going to look for something a little bit different?
Gideon's a fine pick. He probably will end up losing lane to Faye, and she is a nice counter pick into him due to the fact that her ultimate can be timed to cancel his as he teleports in, completely negating whatever he's going to do. She's also got synergy of the steal in that regards. They can also Revenant to cancel Gideon ult, but he is one of the stronger mids, so I guess they will pick him up here to match into the Faye. He will struggle in laning phase though for sure, and he's going to have to look for big ultimates for his team. But with the Rampage and Quang being the main power factors in the team, Murdoch can clean up. He's got good ults on all their CC, Gideon ult, Quang, Tether, Zinc, stun, Rampage stuns. They also set up for the Murdoch, and he can easily sweep in, clean up. So Gal's got a nice, well-rounded comp, decent AoE, decent split push potential with Quang. So it's definitely a strong lineup.
It definitely looks pretty strong. We've seen a lot of Murdochs combining with the Fae, but this time it won't be the case as Asura will have the Fae, and they also pick up a Steel and a Muriel. So while we did see the Fae and Steel linked up on a lineup from Ballistic Gaming yesterday, um, they are on Asura Rage's team this time, and I think we're probably going to see some better things from them this time around, especially with the Muriel bolstering them rather with the survivability. So with that being said, Blood, I think we're ready to get into game number one of our best of 3 semifinal. The winner will go on to the grand final, and this is one of the PCLs where it feels like every single one of these 4 teams could lay claim to that championship spot. So we'll just have to see how it goes down. Blood, are you ready in the replay?
I'm just loading in. I'll be literally 2 seconds.
All right, 1, 2. All right, let's count it. Okay. I would assume that wasn't enough for you.
Just about Paragon's loading screen's fun. I can hear the game, but you know.
Oh yeah, it's just teasing you right now.
Yep. Loading icon is nice. There we go. I'm in now.
All right, and you're going to be at 5 seconds?
Would be nice if it didn't go straight back to a loading screen.
So if we take a look then at Asura Rage's lineup, like we said, they have the Fae and the Steel to try to combo up. They have a couple of very strong heroes. They kind of focused on the ability damage at the beginning of their draft with the Sevrog and the Revenant. Very strong heroes in their own rights. And then they have a couple things on the back end to really make sure that they're able to keep that damage going throughout the fights and really finish off the kills, which is going to be their job in this one. If you take a look at the 2 lineups, which one would you pick as the winner?
If I had to pick out of either of them, I'd say Guile's got the most well-rounded and more than likely to win one, but Asura Rage could definitely pull something off with their comp. It's certainly very strong. With the AoE, if they get a good Fae combo off, if Revenant gets a crucial pick with his ultimate, could definitely do some work with that. My replay's loaded now.
All right. Well,
it's all good.
It would seem that we are ready to get into it, so let's start up in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
You started it. That's good to hear, as we are both in the game.
It's working.
It is working, and you will see it on the screen right now. So let's go through and introduce our teams for the first time of the day. It's going to be Book Synchroman first, or on the Dusk side, playing a Muriel. We've got Ufel. He's going to be handling the Revenant here. Appy Picker on the solo lane will be playing a Steel. We've got Ninja playing the mid lane Fae, and then finally Moxplode will be playing a Sevrog.
Yep, and on the Dawn side, we'll have Idoc in the jungle with Rampage, Louisaire playing the support Zinx, Regal on Quang in the solo lane, Murdoch playing carry, Murdoch, and Gideon by Azibear in the mid lane.
I have to say that Louisaire is actually one of my favorite supports to watch. He's just so dynamic. We've seen him play a lot of different heroes, and just his combo here with Ghost has gotten a lot better over time, and I think he's been making up for their inadequacies at times with just some fantastic support play. So I'm excited to see how he does here.
Yeah, the Zinx definitely has a very strong laning presence, so I imagine the Murdoch and Zinx will be doing the bullying here. But Miro was definitely a very strong pick, and then as she hits level 2 with her slow and her shield, they could maybe start to pressure back on the other two, but I think they will need some jungle support if they're hoping to start to win this lane.
And this is definitely a lane where they can expect to get that from Moxplode coming out of the jungle as a Sevrog. Meanwhile, we got mid lane battles here. Azzy versus Ninja. It's so difficult to outlane Azzy. You really have to get the jungler in there to help. But Ninja is trying to do his best. Now, we do see an early invade. This is a bit ambitious from Guile as Ghost and Louisaire. They push the lane up and they try to get into the jungle to try to interrupt Moxplode. But it does go down. But that Ricochet stun is going to miss, so Guile will just have to disengage.
Yeah, no picks made off of that invade. Quite a greedy little
I think
play,
that'll be it for Ninja, though. That's a bit unlucky. He must have had vision of that, right?
Yeah, I presume he did, but I think Idoc just surprised him around the side. It was a bit early for Rampage, I guess. Ganky, a lot of pressure mainly from Guile here, like distracting them with the little invade there and backing off, and then Rampage comes around the other side as well. Pretty unexpected, I feel. So maybe caught Asura a bit off guard. And yeah, they actually get the kill on the Fae, which is a pretty huge pick early because she definitely needs pressure against her, or she will start to win laning phase due to that spammable Harvest Nettles.
Now we do have a rotation by Moxplode. He decides to skip his own black buff. Idoc was the one to pick that up, and Louisaire and Ghost maybe a bit too far in here. Subjugate's going to miss though, and perhaps it can get out as a result of that. Louisaire's backing away. Moxplode's still in his face though, and yeah, just way too much there. With the consecrated ground coming down, that's going to be a kill for Asura, so they're definitely not going to roll over and die here. Moxplode, even though he didn't get his own black buff, which does go to Idoc, who gets a kill on the Appy Picker Steel. in the solo lane. So yeah, even though Moxblood was able to get something done there, the kill still goes on to the solo lane for his own team. And Ghost may be in trouble as well. You fell underneath the tower, but he's going to take too much harass from it. Is Ghost actually going to go for it? That would be very ambitious for him. And Moxblood's just going to try to go in from the backside, try to get the backstab.
Yeah, Moxblood being very, very overly ambitious here. And he's actually getting very low.
Siphon, not going to get it.
Oh, unfortunate.
And
yeah,
meanwhile,
very,
in the mid lane,
play there.
we've got kills going on as well. So it just seems like Guile has Asura's number in this game. Meanwhile, Asura just kind of have to grasp at straws to try to find their way back into this one. As if we look at the early kills, come on, Mr. Production Guy, look at the early kills. There we go. It is 4 for 1 in favor of Guile Esports right now.
Yeah, iDoc is definitely putting the pressure on with the early Rampage ganks. His stun coming in very useful, the big rock. And he's just spam ganking lanes and doing a very good job keeping up the pressure for his team that Sevarog isn't able to replicate as much.
Yeah, Idic's been doing a great job out of the jungle. He's pretty much done what you expect. We see a lot of the early black buff pushes by Jay Leo, and Idic's getting in there as well with that as they try to put some pressure on the enemy team. Make sure that they can, take advantage of being on this side of the map. Since it is the easily gankable side for Guile Esports, they just pick up the buff on that side of the map and then go straight for the solo lane kill. So it makes a whole lot of sense to go for that early aggression.
Yeah, Steel is not exactly the most survivable lane, and neither is Quang. They're both very susceptible to ganks due to their immobility. So it's definitely a good, nice point of focus, basically, for Guile here, especially if they're strong side jungle there. Whereas Asura definitely have to play more to their duo lane, and maybe try and get this Revenant snowballing when his ultimate does come online.
Now take a look at this. Lucer gets the D ward off in the river, and now Azzy's already here with the Shadow Plane buff. I feel like Asura have to know about this one. Yeah, he is level 5 as well, so he's got the black buff, or the black hole rather, available. So Yufel and Book, they are very savvy to this. They realize that they don't have any vision of the mid lane. They've already gotten that communication from Ninja. So we'll see if they actually want to go in for this one. It would be underneath the turret, and the tank is not here to help out. So we're just gonna have Azzy going back over towards the mid lane as he tells Idic to get off his farm. Idic's just trying to get a little bit of an advantage there. Just make sure that he keeps the minions away from that mid lane tower.
Yeah, definitely a good read there by Asura, noticing Rampage is covering mid lane. Gideon mustn't have been there. River buffs had been taken recently. They did a D ward on left. It was a very likely gank going to left lane with the Gideon ult there, and they read it very well and played appropriately. But in mid lane,
there's the rock as well as the black hole. We talked about the tank not being there on the duo lane, but with Idic showing up with the ultimate, it's a pretty easy kill to get. Now Moxblood shows up, does have a Colossal Blow available. Idic is back down to his smaller form, but as he's putting in a whole lot of damage, we'll get one shot by the tower, but the rocks are going to come through. Whoa. Doesn't end up batting. The ricochet stun from Lucer is going to end up finding the kill, and they leave Ghost on his own. Now, is he going to be able to survive here? Putting some good damage on Yufel, who doesn't pick up the shield from the consecrated ground. Whoa. Can Ghost gets this one? He does, and he's looking for more on the Book as well. The minions are showing up. Consecrated ground will do more damage to Ghost. Can Book pick it up? He's looking for the kill, looking for one more shot, but it's not going to be there. Ghost is going to find the twofer all by himself. He says, I don't need no stinking support. I'm a strong, independent carry.
Very well played by Ghost there, waiting for the shields there to run out, doesn't take the aggro from the creeps again, so he's able to stutter his shots, and then he's actually able to pick up the kill very cleanly there. And meanwhile, mid lane, maybe Moxblood got a bit overzealous there, trying to go onto the Rampage. The ult managed to heal Rampage a lot after the tower dive, and yeah, he ended up going down due to that as well. Appy Picker is getting very low on the solo lane.
Yeah, he's gotten low, but he did manage to get the kill onto Azzy Bear, who was just sitting underneath the tower. Now Regal's going to take the tower harass as well, and I don't think that Moxblood is going to let him get away from here. Judgment that Heaven's put down, though, is going to create some space for the Sevrog. Is it going to be enough? Moxblood still can keep going for this one, but Ninja from the backside and a Siphon there as well will be able to find the kill and the double on the solo lane.
Yeah, that is pretty unfortunate for Regal. They played that very well, taking out Appy there under the tower when he went for the stun. Moxflow got a good ult on him, and Regal nearly escaping the Judgment of the Heavens, but the Fey rotation does actually secure that. So it's a good rotation from Ninja, and he's even able to go back mid and catch a good wave of farm that's going to push towards him now. Pick up the river buff too while he's at it. But yeah, with the orange buff on Fey now, you can definitely put a lot of pressure on this Gideon here. He's going to be pushed in here. They might be looking for a Fangtooth soon. Idok is positioned around it, and Book might actually be caught.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for it, and you see that they decide to go for a gank around that same time. So they'll find Book inside the jungle. Easy kill for Ghost. He's just going ham this game. He's been definitely one of the up-and-comers in the competitive scene for quite a bit, and now on Guile it seems like he's finally found his footing. They'll go right for the first Fangtooth of the game. Appy Picker this time, he's trying to get some damage onto the tier 1 tower in the solo lane, but that Fangtooth just goes down so quickly when you surround it with 5 players.
Yeah, very well played by Guile. Coordinated play. Look for the pick, get the ward control. They noticed Mira was going for her own vision control. They get the pick because of it. They had Quang already rotating over, and they pick up the easy Fangtooth. They will lose the tier 1 in return, but this isn't too bad of an issue for Quang. He can easily set a slow push far back towards his T2, and that's going to have a nice long time to push while he goes for another objective on their rotation. So they can easily snowball off of this first Fangtooth, because 1,000 gold per member is an awful lot to work with.
Yeah, they were trying to snowball as fast as possible, trying to get some aggression inside the jungle, but here comes Appy from the backside. Here's a shield slam on the 2. Nice, beautiful teleport out, though, by Azzy Bear. It's just gonna limit the shield slam to 1 that was so close, and you got the rift out in the nick of time. That's gonna make it so that Appy Picker is only able to help his team get 1 kill out of that, which has got to be a good thing for Guile.
Yeah, it helps stop the aggression a bit from Guile. They have to pull back now, reset their lanes, and go back to farming with the carry dead. But they definitely wanted more out of that. So they probably wanted to get a tower off of a couple kills or something. But the Steel ult, now that's on cooldown, he's going to have to go back to lane, chill for a bit, wait for that to come back up, and they'll have to try and look for a more proactive play themselves as all their ultimates come online. They got to abuse Muriel ult, Steel ult off cooldown, get the Revenant ult snowballing. Otherwise, they're just going to fall behind this more well-rounded comp from Guile for sure.
But I love the tenacity that Asura are playing with here. Even though they lost the first Fangtooth to Guile, they're still staying in this match, using their ultimates as best as they can to make sure that they can continue to keep the pressure on. Now Appy Picker going after Regal. Idok, though, he wants in on the fight, and the Rock is going to be there into the Judgment of the Heavens as well. With the Fury, that's easy pickings for Regal. Another kill goes the way of Guile. Meanwhile, inside the jungle, we've got Ghost and Lucere going for a kill on the Book, who's going to be picked off in his own jungle. There's no place on the map safe right now, it would seem, for Asura.
Yeah, Ghost and Lewis are playing this dual lane really, really well. They just control their lane so fantastically and just wander into the enemy's strong side jungle while their jungle is off somewhere else. And they're able to pick up kills off of it, get vision control because of it. It's really well played from their duo. And they also noticed, Steel ult's down. He's very weak at that point. The Steel ult is the main thing that you pick the hero for. Without it, he's a pretty weak hero. And they actually abuse that with the Rampage ult there and actually dive him. And yeah, all round very well executed from Guile so far in this game. And we'll have to see how Asura can come back into this one, as they're on quite a deficit now of 15k gold.
Yeah, the early game for Asura, even though they're trying to keep themselves in it, Guile still have built themselves up a pretty good lead, and they don't really seem intent on relinquishing it anytime soon. They're going to continue to keep the pressure on, make sure they have the wards around the map. Just look how deep those wards are inside the jungle, and it's definitely setting them up pretty well for their second Fangtooth. Moxflow could get caught in the jungle, uses a Phantom Rush to get out, and that Ricochet stun will not be hitting this time around. Everybody's on this side of the map. This is not going to be as easy as the first Fangtooth. We'll see who ends up getting picked off. Appy Picker looking for an excellent shield slam, but Regal's trying to keep him pushed out. Appy trying to walk on in. Is he going to find it? That shield slam hits on to nothing, but it does separate the fight. Maybe Regal will go down here. He's a bit too tanky for them to actually take him, though, and Idok is going to tank up everything. Beautiful Fey ultimate, but there's not really any kind of follow-up from Asura, and now Appy Picker's getting pushed all over the place as Regal is tanking up all this damage on the other side. There just isn't enough here, and the black hole comes in from Book Sinkman. Yufel trying not to get caught in it as he's almost getting taken down, but now Yufel is gone, and there's very little damage left for Asura to actually take this one. Ninja can't even find Azzy, and it's going to be a full 5-man team wipe for nothing on the side of Guile.
Wow, so well played by Guile. It's a clean team fight from themselves, and excellent use of their ultimates. Their positioning was fantastic, avoiding basically everything from the side of Asura. The shield slam got no value out of it, and they just got separated and picked apart one by one with excellent target focus from Guile. It was an excellently well played fight with their lead, and yeah, well, that's another Fang Tooth, and now they're going to continue to snowball and maybe look for a Prime next.
Yeah, Asura were snowballing in their match yesterday, but now if we look at this one, it would seem that Guile are definitely a good match for them. The key thing about these matches, though, is that they are best of 3, so even if things don't go well at every single stage of the game, there is still game number 2 or even game number 3 to try to come back in, but this game still has a lot more to be played in it. Guile do have an advantage, but Asura could find themselves back in the game with, say, a Fangtooth kill or maybe even OP.
Yeah, exactly. The thing they have to look for here, Gao, is of course, like, you see Lewis there setting up all the vision control around Prime. Now, this is where they're going to look for their pick, and that's the objective they'll try and go for. If they do manage to just get overzealous, though, maybe go on the Prime a bit too early, maybe not get the pick, Sura could definitely turn this around with some good macro and rotations to definitely capitalize on that. And if they ever steal Prime, then they'll certainly be back in the game. But we do see Appy a bit of a problem here, maybe. No, the rock misses.
Yeah, the rock misses, so that's going to allow him to get away. I think at this point, Asura have to be a bit more careful about where they're showing on the map. Right now, they have Muriel and Revenant over on the duo lane side, and that shows that Guile have a lot of room to go for this one. They can just commit a lot of members to the Orb Prime and take it out pretty quickly without too much of a threat. Sure, maybe the Muriel on the duo lane, sure, you can put her over there. She can just get the ROF in, and she's completely fine. But a Revenant doesn't really have that same global pressure. So that's going to lead to Guile Esports taking the first Orb Prime of the game.
Yeah, it was a very clean execution. Again, they got the established vision control. All their lanes were set in. The other 2 members were on the other side of the map, and they could just easily go for it there. There was no contention. They couldn't actually fight from Asura's side there. There's only 3 of them in the area. So they sort of just had to let Guile take it at that point due to their mismanaged waves.
Asura looking for their opportunity here. Moxblow trying to get the wraparound, but he's not going to be able to find anything there as his tier 2 tower is about to go down. Ninja picked off underneath his own tower. Somebody buffed those things. Appy Picker trying to come on through, but he's just not able to get anything done. Appy just trying to go away here, but Ufel is going to be the one that gets melted underneath the inhib as well. Regal's going to go forward. Beautiful ricochet stun from Lucera is going to pick up too, and Moxblood isn't able to do anything about it because he's caught in the black hole. Time and space being crushed in his face there. And wow, what a beautiful rock from Idek as well, just smashing it into the face of Asura Rage here. They're going to be able to take their first inhib of the game, and I don't think they're going to stop there. They could easily set up a push onto a tier 2 tower if they like.
Yeah, they're definitely going to use this orb to now push something else very quickly. That was a very, very well executed dive there. We see the power of the Rampage here. When this pick gets ahead, you can snowball objectives, you can tank them forever if you're extra regen, use the ultimate to abuse it, you can take the Prime really quick, then you can tower dive really easily. When this hero gets ahead, he's so difficult to deal with, and Asura don't really have the tools for it. The Steel ult isn't enough to stop him, the Muriel shields just don't keep him away, and he's just able to be this massive front line for the side of Guile here. He's definitely playing his heart out here. Very well played.
Absolutely from Guile Esports. They are really making short work of Asura, who looked pretty good yesterday, but, you know, Guile Esports, a very difficult opponent. Right now, Guile will be backing up to try to spend their huge amount of gold, which they've amassed over the first just 16 minutes of this game. And, man, Blood, it just looks so difficult for Asura here.
Yeah, they need a miracle at this point. There's no OP to take, there's no Fangtooth to take, the neutral objectives are off, they're going to have constant mid-pressure against them. Unless they make some sort of miracle pick here and turn it into a good fight, they're going to struggle to get back in this game. They need a couple Revenant ult kills or something to get him really into the game, because at the moment he's just falling more and more behind, and Revenant's the kind of carry that really needs to get ahead. So when this sort of happens, yeah, it really does struggle for the side of Asura. And the Severo pick, it's not quite working out for them at the moment. You need to be getting picks of this guy. You need to be using his ultimate off cooldown all the time, constant pressure. But he's definitely falling behind in those regards to the Rampage from Idok. And maybe he's caught here.
He could be, but it's just a Murdoch coming in from the right side right now. Lucera will go up, looking for the ricochet stun, but the Phantom Rush is going to get Moxblood out of danger there. It just feels like every single initiation from Asura Rage, even though they are a teamfight focused they're a teamfight focused combo, they're not really able to use it all here because Guile have been so good at dodging every single thing that Asura are throwing.
Oh, Ninja.
Ninja coming in with a 3-man ultimate. Is it going to be enough? The rock goes in. They're all getting stuck there for so long, but can Guile stay alive? Ninja's going to fall. Moxplode uses the Colossal Blow to get them away. Appy Picker does get the shield slam on the 3. Ghost will fall. We've just got a whole lot of models here, and as he comes in with the black hole, finally, he makes it into the fight. Starting to take a bit of damage here. Drops a rock on the Moxplode. Everybody's just sitting here. It looks like nobody really wants to go home at all. Regal looking for a Judgment of the Heavens, gets it onto the Revenant, and he's going to find another kill. Rock just thrown up by Idic. It doesn't even matter at this point, because these 3 heroes from Guile are going to be enough to take your tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, they got Ghost, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough. There was no steal to follow up onto the Fae ultimate that landed on free. It was a beautiful play there by Ninja, but you can see the gold lead that's been amassed by Guile is keeping them alive in all these bad scenarios. That was a really strong engage by Asura, but the gold lead is just too much, and they weren't able to pick off the carry off of it, which is very unfortunate, because that was a really strong engage. But that's what they needed a bit earlier in the game, and it's come out, but it's just a bit too late, and now they take another inhibitor, and Guile will look for the third so that they can then choke out Asura and try and close out the first game.
It's just been so rough this entire time from Asura. They've gone through a lot of things to try to make themselves a better team. They've been practicing a lot, going for some scrims, but it would seem that this time around Guile Esports are a bit too big of an opponent for them, and they're probably going to have to figure things out a lot in game number 2. Appy Picker coming in with a bonk, trying to get the stuns that he needs, but Idic is just going to back out of the tower, and here comes Regal with the Fury of the Heavens, taking Moxplode down to very little health. And Guile Esports, it seems like they're hardly even using anything to go for these kills.
Yeah, they're... steal.
Yeah, Appy Picker looking for the backlines, does get the shield slam on the 2, but he's just way too low at this point, and his team doesn't have enough follow-up to his damage, which is just coming a little bit too late. Ninja cleaned up by the long arm of the wall, and it's just easy pickings this time around for Guile Esports, looking for their win in game number 1 of this best-of-3 semifinal.
Yeah, this Rampage pick has definitely been the star of the show. Of his constant Rampage ults, the cooldown is so low on it. You can just do these endless sieges where he frontlines tanks towers, and they made excellent use of their hard CC, as I said, to pick off with the Murdoch. He can clean up the fights. And yeah, very well played from Guile. Very strong comp and very strong execution.
A very strong game in all from Guile Esports. You can take a look at the final stats here. 26-5 on the kills. That's nothing less than a dominant game. I mean, you take a look at the gold, you take a look at the kills, and you say, man, it was just so difficult for Asura from the get-go. We started out 4-1 in favor of Guile, and they kept on going the entire time. So, Blood, we are going to be going to game number 2 in just a little bit, but before we go to a break, what do Asura need to fix here to try to have a better showing? Beautiful words as always, Blood. You may be muted a little bit, but while we try to figure out these technical difficulties, we will be going to a quick break here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for PCL NA number 12. We've been through 12 NA events at this time, and you guys are still cute as ever. So we're going to go to a quick break. Stay classy, and as always, cheers.